Welcome to Real Talk for Real Teens, the show where we uniquely combine the information teens need with the entertainment teens want.
Hello, guys. Welcome to today's episode of Real Talk for Real Teens. I am Kim Creighton, your host. And today we have a musical artist, Breanna Lynn. Hi, Breanna.
Hey, Kim. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I'm so excited to talk about my new single and everything that's coming up, so I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. Well, then let's jump right in. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
All right. Well, hey, everyone. My name is Breanna Lynn. I am a 17, going to be turning 18 soon, artist, and I have just released my new single called Stand Up, which is now on iTunes, and I'm here today to kind of talk about the meaning behind the single, to show you what it sounds like, as well as to talk about some of the charity work and different organizations that I'm part of.
All right. So let's jump right into it. Where would you like to start?
Well, actually, I would love to start to kind of explain about what Stand Up is about. That's kind of, like I said, that is my first single. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I know that a lot of teens as well, I mean, early adults, sometimes we can feel like we are just, not to say useless, but sometimes we feel like we don't really have that much of an impact in the world, like we're too young to do something that is meaningful, that can make a difference. I remember when I wrote this song, Stand Up, I remember sitting in my room and just thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm not making the difference that I want to, but I don't know how. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then I wrote this song, which is basically about saying, you know what, you're really never too young to make a difference. I think that even talking to some of my friends, they're just like, you know, I would love to get into this or get into that. I would love to help, but I just feel like people won't take me seriously. And kind of thinking about that, I realized that, you know, it's kind of an advantage almost to be young and to try to help people and make a difference. Because when you're young, yeah, people may not take you seriously at first, but once you gain their respect, you'll have more notoriety and you'll be able to make even a bigger difference because of that. So that's kind of what I wrote Stand Up about, and that's kind of what my message is.
Well, you said a lot of, we're going to listen to the song. We want to talk a little bit, and then we're going to listen to the song. But you said a lot of things in what you hit a lot of points in what you just said. And one of them is you were asking, was that true? Yes, a lot of young people feel that their opinions don't matter, that they really can't make an impact. They're too young. And a lot of that is because that's how adults have treated them. And you know, and businesses or whatever have treated them as very passive participants in what goes on. And you're absolutely right. Young people are in a prime position to take control of those situations. And there are ways of doing it so that you don't rub people the wrong way. But if you're talking about just impacting your own life, I say take the reins firmly and go out there and make some mistakes. And especially when you're young, because you can bounce back from them, you can learn from them, and you won't be 40, 50, 60 years old regretting things that you didn't do or you didn't try. And young people can make a vast impact because, first of all, most of the time, now I'm not going to say a lot of times, I've seen some very jaded young people, but most young people are very optimistic. This is one part of just adolescent development. You know, you have this, invincible thing, you know, like, nothing will ever happen to me. And that energy goes a long way. That energy keeps you guys going when everybody else is around you, like, shut up, I want to go to sleep. You know, you guys like going at it. You're like, oh, God, I got this idea. Better than them. And then you don't have that fully trained pessimistic or what do I want to say? I really had prided myself on. I'm so happy I got beyond this. I have prided myself on as I got older being a person who could come up with the worst case scenario. I could always come up with the worst case scenario. If you tell me something, I can always think about the worst thing that could happen. Most young people don't think that way. Most young people are thinking, you know, forget the worst case scenario. If it's going to happen, I can make this da-da-da. So, yes, you can have a great impact with that energy. And all it takes is for you guys, well, first of all, for adults to, because I'm speaking to older teens, adolescents, and young adults, but for, the society as a whole to make room for your ideas and for your energy. And also for young people to be brave enough to say, even if there is no room for you, the room hasn't been made, hey, I want to make a space for what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish.
Right, yeah, and I totally agree with the things you're saying. I think that, it's really interesting what you said about how adults, they just kind of look over us. It's like for some reason, they put their passivity onto us. They think that because they maybe didn't accomplish a lot in life or because they feel like they can't make a difference, they put that on us as the younger generation, thinking that we're mini models of them. But however, that is completely opposite from the truth. I mean, I think, like you said, we as young people have this incredible energy, and we do. I mean, most of the time we have a very optimistic air, like you were saying. And I think we can take that. Not only can we change our own lives, like I think a lot of people they think that, they have to just live in this monotony and this, going to school, coming home, doing homework, and then just going to bed. That's not what we don't just have to do that. We can be working in our communities. We can be talking to other teenagers and figuring out how we can lead our generation into a better place than where the older generation is now. Because, like I said, adults seem to push their views onto us. However, I think that with the new generation that is coming up, we can make a better place than any of the adults ever could have dreamed of.
Well, you can do that. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because you can do that because you have tools that we never had. You have access to things that we never had. We could not. It would have been a big challenge for most of us to impact anybody outside of our immediate communities. As like we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have blogs, we didn't have the freaking internet. So we unless you were in some kind of job or your family was that kind of, those kind of connections, our impact was very much local. And I'll also say that we as adults have been in your place, so it's nothing new. What happens is that as you become, I think for some reason I say when you get 25, you forget about what it was like to be younger. But at that point, now you have all these family obligations, you have these work obligations, you have all these things that are going on, the things you have to take care of. And those you're passionate about, if they're not an integral part of the things you have to take care of every single day, they kind of get pushed to the back burner. They get, those are the things you do on the weekends, or, you maybe even if you can take time to do them. And so, it's not that we don't have it, we just don't have access to it. That's a great word. We don't have access to it easily because a lot of us have not made it a part of our lives. Whereas young people, you don't have, you say you have school. Well, you guys have been in school from K through 12. And if you're going to college, you've been in school from K through, to senior in college. So you know that. You have that down to a science. You know what it takes to go to class. You know what it takes to da-da-da-da. So you have all this. So it doesn't take much brain power, except for, your studies. But I'm just saying it doesn't take much brain power to figure out, okay, I got to be in school for this, that, and other, but I have the rest of the day to do whatever I need to do. And so, so you're correct in you have not only the access, you have the technology, and you have the time. Most of you have the time to really start something at a young age that will carry you through when your life gets very complicated with all these other obligations. Because you do want to make space. You do want to provide, make space for those things that you're passionate about, those things. You don't want to put those on the back burner and say, oh, I'll get to those later, or when I get time for it. And that's what kind of happens when you get older with all these responsibilities.
Right, and that totally makes sense. I see what you're saying there. I mean, like you said, we do have access to an extreme amount of information as well as communication skills through the internet, which, I mean, as as a 17-year-old, I can't imagine living without the internet at this age. So obviously it has proved to be a huge asset to us in those areas. And like you said, you know, I know that when you get older, like, these responsibilities become so much more than what we have right now. So I think that we are definitely at a prime age to make a difference. And I think that you know, we can't make excuses for ourselves, you know, because something I've seen in myself, at least, is sometimes I'm just like, oh, geez, well, I have school, and, but I just kind of want to relax right now. Like, I'm tired, and I don't want to do anything, but it's almost like having to tell myself, like, okay, like you had said, when I am 50, 60, when I'm on my deathbed even, like, do I want to look back and say, oh, you know, I really did a great job of watching that much television, or will I want to be able to say, okay, you know, when I could have just, you know, not done anything, I actually stood up and got over how tired I was, got over, you know, how busy I was, I made time for it, and I actually did something that changed my generation. If not my generation, just changed people's lives and helped people.
Exactly.
I know, at least for me, that is the legacy that I want to leave.
All right, so with that said, why don't you, we're going to start a play Stand Up. So, again, tell us what this song is about, and we'll get started.
All right, cool, yeah. Stand Up is basically about looking at the circumstances you have, and even though they seem ridiculously scary, and everybody around you saying, don't do that, don't take the leap of faith, you could fall, it's about going above that and rising above it and just saying, you know what, I'm tired of not doing anything. I'm tired of feeling like I don't have a purpose, and I'm going to take this leap of faith, and I'm going to stand up.
Take a chance is all I hear, whispered in my ear as my back's against the wall. I'll never know who I could be, all the things that I could see, if I'm just scared that I will fall. If I don't close my eyes and take a leap of faith, how will I climb all of the mountains, conquer all my demons?
Follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Real Talk for Real Teens and on Twitter at RTFRT Radio.
All right, guys, we're back with Breanna Lynn, and we've just had a wonderful conversation just about young people, young adults, and their ability to make a difference and empowering themselves and making a difference. That's one thing that I find, and we're going to talk about your music in just a moment, but we just had a great conversation. People are always talking about motivating someone else or empowering someone else, or you can't. Those are intrinsic things. I cannot motivate you. I cannot empower you. What I can do as an adult is provide an environment for you to thrive and for you to choose to do those things for yourself. But I cannot empower you. I cannot motivate you. So Breanna is intrinsically motivated, which means that comes from inside of her. There's a drive within her that says, hey, I want to do these things because I want the opportunity to have an impact on the world that I live in. So all young people, all people have this. So I'm saying that because going back to your first thing about, young people feeling that they don't have a place or they won't be valued or taken seriously, you have to understand that value comes from within. You will be taken seriously and will be valued if you value what you're doing and what you're saying and who you are, because that comes across. And the people who are around you will recognize that and will give you the space with which, to have your platform to say whatever you need to say or whatever. But that comes from within. So please stop waiting for other people to say, hey, it's okay for you to do this. Stop waiting for other people to say, hey, you are valuable. Stop waiting for other people to say, hey, you can, you are empowered. That comes from within.
Exactly, and I completely agree with you. And one thing I do want to mention is that I know that this is from personal experience. A lot of teens and young adults feel like they are purposeless because of other people saying that they are. When I was in middle school and even through high school, I was bullied kind of relentlessly, where people continually told me that I was weird or I was different and there was no way on earth that I would be able to help people. And what I think is interesting is that since so many people have gone through this, what's really sad actually is seeing the impact and the effect it has. Obviously we see bullying as an epidemic now. We see all these teenagers who are committing suicide even and have self-harm and feeling worthless because of bullying. But what I want to do is obviously I want to help stop bullying in the first place, but I also want to help the victims see this as an opportunity to prove the bullies wrong. All because you were told that you were useless by some kid in your class, that does not mean you are useless. And what you can do is you can take that and it can motivate you to go and make a difference and to go and prove that person wrong and be like, see, I am not useless. I have changed people's lives, and there is nothing that you can do that can stop me.
And I want to go take another twist on that and say, first of all, bullying is not new. What's new is, again, that technology, that access that you guys have. Whereas when if I were bullied in school, it was only at my school. Now it can be millions of people can know about it, and that's what makes it exponentially harder, because most young people, if not all young people, feel inadequate. And I'm going to tell you, I was the weird kid, but I'm going to tell you, Breanna, you live in a world now where weird is celebrated. Weird is building businesses and companies and making products and doing great things and making music. Weird is the thing now. Weird is the shit. That's what weird is. But what I'm going to say is that let's switch this, because what we oftentimes think of the victim, and yes, I feel for them. But let me say this. So I want to make this clear: the bullier is a victim as well, because I have not come across one person who bullies who is not hurt and broken on the inside themselves, and that's why they do it. They are not doing it because they truly believe that they have all their crap together. No way in hell, because if you did, you would be a compassionate person. You wouldn't see any need to break anybody else down. But what it happens is, what happens is you have these young people, and it's not even just young people. You see it every day in adults. You have these people who don't feel inadequate in their own lives, feel that they can't accomplish anything. So they're going to bring everybody around them down. It's going to be, if I'm in pain, you're going to be in pain too. So what I want to tell young people is don't get your self-esteem or your thing to try to prove something to a bully. Screw them. Do it because you know you're worthy. Because you don't want to, and this leads to something else. Again, going back to what I said, is your self-worth cannot come from outside of you. That's why it's called self-worth. What I want you to do is challenge yourself to, no matter what's going on around you, be it bullying, be it a death in the family, be your parents you're in a situation that is very dysfunctional, because we're all in dysfunction. But whatever it is, that you can find a way to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I hate what's going on in my life right now, but I'm okay. I'm okay. And I will get through it.
And I totally hear what you're saying. I think one thing we do have to be careful about, though, is making sure that we don't give excuses for bullying. Because obviously I totally understand what you're saying about bullying, and how I know that bullies are definitely the victims in other situations in their lives. However, that does not make it okay. And I think kind of what I want to say to victims also is, like, what they're doing is not right. So I think something
it's
that...
not right.
No, I know.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not right. But what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is, don't feel that they have the power. That's exactly what I'm saying. The bully does not have the power, because they're broken too. So it's both of you. It's about both of you taking responsibility and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to be okay. And regardless of what they're doing, screw them. Let them do whatever they're doing. Get away. Tell whoever you have to tell, whatever. But don't let that person take your self-esteem, because that's what it is. It's your self-esteem.
Right, exactly. And I think that it's definitely good for victims of bullying to distance themselves from the bullies. Yes. Obviously, even though the bullies are emotionally unstable, it is never good to surround yourself with toxic people. So if that is something that you're dealing with, you should definitely, in any way that you can, distance yourself. Delete them from Facebook. Block them from Facebook.
Yes, exactly.
Try not to have any social media contact with them at all. And whatever they say to you, however you feel like you need to retaliate, and then forget about it. Just do not focus on it. So like I was saying, obviously we can't make excuses for the bullying, which we're not, obviously. But it's definitely... As a victim, don't feel bad about yourself if the things that they say hurt you. They are going to hurt you. They will probably always hurt you at least to some degree. Yes. However, what you can do is take that hurt and put it into motivation, and realize that even though those words sting, and they always will, those do not define who you are, because those bullies, like you were saying, they are victims themselves. They are broken, and they are taking that brokenness and just putting it on you, because they have nowhere else to put it. So it's literally about saying, okay, this hurts, this sucks, and I hate it. But I don't care what you have to say about me, because I'm going to take these words and put them into motivation to be a better person.
Exactly. And that's the message I want to get across. That's the message. I don't want the quote-unquote bullying victims to see themselves as victims. I don't want the young people to see themselves as victims, because sometimes that's just life. People will always be someone in your life who's who has this thing of, I need to put you down because it makes me feel good. It's not going to be the last, it's not the first, and it's not the last. So what I want you to do is develop those coping skills. Well, whatever they say, it does not matter. Yes, it's going to hurt. Oh, my God, it's going to hurt. But you'll be okay. You can live through it, and you can be stronger because of it. Because I was the weird kid, so of course, I wasn't bullied because I just had a smart mouth.
Right.
That was my thing.
Right. And I think that because something that actually I have that now, I did not have that then. But I think sometimes kids are just like, oh, I wish I could make those comebacks. I wish I could do this. And honestly, it's literally about showing the confidence of being like, honey, I don't give a crap about what you're saying about me. Because do you really think that I care what you think about me? I mean, do you really think I care? I mean, it's kind of putting on that confidence. Even if it's fake confidence at first, it's literally about faking it until you make it.
I was just about to say that. It's faking it until you make it, definitely. And think about if you just had that attitude of, you know what, I don't care what you say. Think about how small, how that, you know, that bully has that big puffed out chest. If you come at it like, you know what, whatever, that chest just goes in the air and their chest just goes out. And then they just move on. They just move on.
Exactly. It's taking a needle and poking it in that puffed out chest and be like, honey, you can deflate. I'm going to go and change the dating world. So have fun down there. Like
Exactly. Yeah. But we're gonna want to introduce your last song.
Okay, this song is called Wild Card, and everyone asked me about the name. It's honestly because we didn't know what else to name it, because it's just literally the wild card song of my songs. And what this song is about, it's kind of about seeing the fun in life, but mostly it's about almost like what we're talking about, talking to these bullies and being like, honey, while you are off reliving your high school years because you have nothing else to do, I am going to be on that pedestal, and I'm going to be a voice to my generation. So have fun down there, because bottles are going to be popping and nothing's stopping me.
Oh, wow. Okay. So before we play Miss Breanna Lynn's champagne bottle popping wild card, why don't you tell everybody how they can get in contact with you?
All right, sounds good. Yeah, everyone, if you want to contact me, make sure you go onto my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Breanna Lynn Music. That is Breanna with an E, Breanna, just to make that clear. And also, if you want to directly message me, or you can tweet me on Twitter, which is Breanna Lynn Music, and my website is BreannaLynnMusic.com. I would love to hear from you guys and start talking to you about all this. So get in contact with me, like my page, and we will go from there.
All right. Thank you very much for being on the show, Breanna. We are about to end it with Wild Card.
Awesome.
My say. Every time I turn around, I'm where I was before. Every time I try to walk, I hit another door. You skate by with a smile on your face. Well, expectations hold me in place. You think you got it figured out. You think you got it made. You think you're fancy for first,
Become a member of the Real Talk for Real Teens community at rtfrt.info. New or unknown musical artists. If you'd like your own mini concert, request information at realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com.
The Real Talk for Real Teens community is the premier membership organization for young professionals. Real Talk for Real Teens community provides the most comprehensive resources and education designed to advance the skills, integrity, and value of its members as professionals. Become a member at www.rtfrtc.com. Thank you for listening, and join us every Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more Real Talk for Real Teens.